Good morning. I am Dr. X. Sharmila, Associate Professor at the Department of Industrial Biotechnology, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Today I am going to handle unit operations and the topic is extraction. What is extraction? Extraction is the process of separating one or more component through the intimate contact with a second immiscible liquid, which is called a solvent. So whenever the distillation process becomes inefficient, then we can go for extraction process. So in extraction process, we'll be adding the third solvent, which will dissolve the solute which is present in the mixture. So the main purpose of extraction is to extract the solute from the solution, or otherwise we can call it as mixture, liquid mixture. There are two types of extraction, liquid extraction and solid liquid extraction, which is otherwise called as leaching. So the leaching is nothing but it is a process of mass transfer that occurs by extracting the substance from the solid material. So the leaching process involves in the separation of solute from the solid mixture by using the liquid solvent. So in the leaching, the liquid is very important, which serves as a solvent. It facilitates the ability to remove or extract a given substance from the solid matrix. The main purpose of leaching is separation of the solute from the solid mixture using the liquid solvent. The best example of leaching process is separation of tea from the tea powder. So here the tea is present in the solid matrix, which is called the tea powder. In the tea powder, we are going to extract the tea, which is the solute. So here the hot water will be serving as a solvent. So this hot water, when this hot water is mixed with this solid matrix, which is the tea powder, this tea will be extracted and we'll be getting the tea solution. So here the hot water is serving as a solvent, and the solid matrix in which the solute tea is present in the tea is extracted by means of this hot water. This is the best example of leaching process. There are many factors which will influence this leaching operation, which are temperature, the solvent which is going to be used for separating the solute, and the agitation, the mixing, at what speed we are giving the agitation. That will also influence if the agitation rate is more or it has to be optimum. So based on that, only the extraction of the particular solute will be taking place, and the particle size. So these are the various factors which will influence this leaching operation. The smaller particle, so when coming to the particle size, the smaller particle will be having higher affinity. So we can get more extraction. And the higher concentration of the solute will be providing higher the viscosity. Higher concentration means the viscosity will also be higher. So since the viscosity is higher, then the extraction rate will be low. So the viscosity also plays the important role in the extraction process. And the diffusivity will be increased. The diffusivity will be increased with increase in the temperature because the viscosity is decreasing. Since the viscosity is decreasing, the diffusivity will be increased. Since the increased diffusivity, we will be getting more amount of extraction process. And the agitation also plays the vital role on this extraction process. The agitation, so when the agitation increases, the mass transfer will also be increased. The main principle of leaching is the solvent must be transferred from the bulk solvent solution to the surface of the solid. And the next is the solvent must penetrate or it should be diffused into the solid. It should have the capacity to penetrate into the solid because we have the solid mixture. From that solid mixture only we are going to extract our solute. The solute then diffuses through the solid, then the solvent mixture to the surface of the particle. Finally, the solute is transferred into the bulk solution. The rate of the solvent transfer from the bulk solution to the solid surface is very rapid. So these are the principle of leaching operation. Now coming to the classification. This leaching is classified into fixed bed leaching, moving bed leaching, and agitated leaching. See, these are the various classification and equipments which are used for this fixed bed leaching and moving bed leaching, agitated solid leaching are. First, in fixed bed leaching, it uses the typical fixed bed diffuser. So here the diffuser or extractor are used for leaching process. Next is moving bed leaching. In moving bed leaching, it uses the Ballman extractor. Ballman extractor, Rotocell extractor, Kennedy extractor, and Hildebrand extractor. These all comes under moving bed leaching. Next is agitated solid leaching. This agitated solid leaching is performed by means of counter current leaching using the thickness. So in the thickness, this agitated solid leaching is taking place. Now we'll see these equipments one by one. First is Ballman extractor. Here the Ballman extractor contains a bucket elevator in a closed casing. There will be the closed casing. Inside the closed casing, the bucket elevators will be present. And there will be the perforations in the bottom of each bucket. Each bucket, there will be the perforations to extract the solute from the solid mixture. At the top right hand corner of the machine, the buckets are loaded with flaky solids. We can keep any solid material, such as here we can keep soya beans, in which we are going to extract the oil, soya bean oil, and are sprayed with half miscellany when they travel downward. What is this half miscellany? This half miscellany is the intermediate solvent containing some extracted oil and some small solid particles. So half miscellany is nothing but the solvent plus the extracted oil will be present. So that is called half miscellany. So while we load the solid material in the buckets, this half miscellany will be sprayed into the solid mixture. So this half miscellany, which consists of this solvent and extracted oil, the solvent again will extract some more oil from this solid mixture. As the solids and solvent flow concurrently downwards, the right hand side of the machine, the solvent extract more and more amount of oil from the solid mixture. Simultaneously, the fine solids are filtered out of the solvent through the perforations. The extracted oil will be extracted and the fine solid will be filtered out of the solvent, so that clean full miscellany can be pumped from the right hand sump of the bottom of the casing. As partially extracted bean rise through the left side of the machine, a stream of pure solvent percolates countercurrently through them, and it collects in the left hand side sump and it's pumped into the half miscellany storage tank. So right hand side, the solid mixture is coming, and left hand side, the pure solvent and the half miscellany is extracted and it is taken to the storage tank. Then fully extracted beans are dumped from the buckets at the top of the elevator into the hopper, from which they are removed by paddle conveyors, which are 50 to 500 tons of soybeans can be used per 24 hours. So this is the Ballman extractor, the construction of Ballman extractor. So in this Ballman extractor, here half miscellany is sprayed at the right side of this buckets. These are buckets which are perforated. In this, we are keeping our dry flakes. The dry flakes are fed into this buckets, as well as the half miscellany, which are separated from this, is again fed into the fresh feed to extract more amount of oil. And when the solid mixture passing through this buckets, it will be transferred through this bucket. And the half miscellany and full miscellany will be separated out. So full miscellany means so it will be fully extracted compounds. Extracted solute will be present in the full miscellany, and the half miscellany will be consist of the extracted oil plus some amount of solvent. And this side, left hand side of the chamber, there will be pure solvent pump. The pure solvent will be sprayed into this so that we can get the full miscellany. Complete oil extraction will be carried out in this counter current manner here, because the solid mixture is passing through up to downwards to upwards. At the same time, the pure solvent is sprayed into this bucket from top to bottom. So it is co-current, counter current manner. So both are passing in, both are following the counter current manner. And the full miscellany, once it is separated, it can be, we will be having the complete extracted product. Next, Rotocell extractor. Rotocell extractor is our horizontal basket. Here it is, the horizontal basket is divided into walled compartments with a floor that is permeable to the liquid. and the basket rotates slowly about a vertical axis. The basket will be rotating, and the solids will be admitted to each compartment at a feed point. These compartments then pass a number of solvent sprays, a drainage section, and a discharge point. So number of solvent spray system will be provided at each compartment, so that drainage and the discharge point also will be there from each compartment. To give counter current extraction, because we know that counter current extraction or counter current action will be giving a more efficient process. Counter current action is the more efficient process. So that here we are also following the counter current extraction. The fresh solvent is fed only to the last compartment before the discharge point. So we can extract more and more amount of extracted product from the feed. So this is the rotocell extractor. Here these are called compartments. So each compartment, under each compartment will be keeping the solid mixture on this, and the spray, the pure solvent will be sprayed through this. Here the solvent, pure solvent will be sprayed in each compartment. So when the solvent sprayed onto the solid mixture, automatically the solute which is present in the solid mixture will be extracted out, and it will be drained from the bottom, and there will be the drain at the bottom, and those drains will be separated. Here we will be getting the solvent and oil, which is called as miscellany. So this solvent and oil can be separated from the bottom, because and at the top we'll be getting the flaky solids, solid mixtures, which are more amount of, after extracting the more amount of oil or more amount of the solute, we'll be getting the raffinate, which are called raffinate. So this is this rotocell extractor will be rotating. So while it is rotating, each compartments will be carrying the solid mixture, and the solvent will be sprayed onto it, so that we'll be getting the extracted product at the outlet, and solids also will be discharged from the bottom. Then the next is Kennedy extractor. It is originally for leaching of tannins from the tan bark, and it is now used for the oil seed extraction. Originally, it is used for the tannins, and the solids are leached out in series of tubs. Series of tubs will be there. The solids will be separated. Solids will be placed on the tubs, and these are pushed from one to the other in the next in the cascade by paddles. Paddles will be provided. While the solvent flows in the counter current, here also we are providing the counter current manner for extraction, and this solvent is coming from the other side out. So as the slurry is moving from the left to the right, to left side to the right side of the solvent is coming from the right to left. So both are following the opposite direction. That means the counter current passage. And the perforations in the paddles permit the drainage of the solid between the stages. Between the stages, the perforations will be provided. So these perforations will be permitting the drainage of the solid between the stages. So this is the Kennedy extractor. So series of tubs will be provided here, and the solids are fed here, and the fresh solvent will be sprayed at the last stage, last tub. And this solids are moving from this to the last, and the solvent is sprayed at this last stage, so that it is following the counter current operation. Next is Hildebrand extractor. Here the screw conveyor, which may be perforated in such a manner that it also acts as a sieves. And the pressure of transverse conveyor is regulated automatically. The extraction agent flowing through the last container will pass through the transversal member into the first, in which it will rise and pass through the sieves or basket, which is equipped with the outlet elements through which the extraction agent will leave the apparatus. The material is thus subjected to the influence of extraction agent through all parts of the apparatus, and for a long time the extraction agent will get into the intimate contact. Here we are keeping the extraction agent, which are called as the solvent, for longer time. So we can keep it for longer time. So we know that if the resident time is more, we can get a more and more amount of extraction. So here also the extraction agent will have intimate contact with every particle for the longer time. So more amount of solute can be extracted. It is therefore possible to use relatively small quantity of extraction agent because we are keeping the extraction agent for longer time. So we no need to use some more amount of solvent. So less amount, a small quantity of the extraction agent is enough to obtain the product of high concentration. That is the main advantage of this Hildebrand extractor. Here, counter current flow is followed. Here also the counter current flow is followed for extraction of the micella. So this is the Hildebrand extractor. Here the solvent is flowing through here and the feed is fed at this right side. And while the feed is flowing through this pipe and the solvent is flowing through the other side, it is following the counter current. So micella will be taken out from this side. And at the other end, we can collect our solid mixture after separation of the solute. This is the horizontal Hildebrand extractor. Next is dispersed solid leaching. Solids that form impermeable beds either before or during the leaching are treated by dispersing them in the solvent by mechanical agitation in a tank or flow mixture. The leached residue is then separated. After the leaching process, the residue is then separated from the solution by settling or filtration. So we have to go for the next settling process for settling our leached residue. Or else we can go for filtration for removal of our leached residue. And the small quantities can be leached batch-wise in this way. It's in an agitated residue. So this is the continuous thickness. This is the thickness. Here the feed will be fed into the first one, the last one, and the solvent will be fed into this first. Here the agitation is, we know that agitation also plays or influences the extraction operation. So if you promote agitation, the extraction will also be increased, so that we are providing the agitation. And solvent and the speed is following the counter current manner to get more amount of extraction. So continuous counter current leaching is obtained with several gravity thickness. Thickness are mainly used for leaching, and continuous counter current leaching only used. These gravity thickness are connected in series, or when the contact in a thickener is inadequate, by placing an agitator tank in the equipment tray between each pair of thickness. So between each pair of thickness, we can add the agitator tank. Still further refinement of this instrument is it will be used when the solids are too fine to settle by gravity, is to separate the residue from the micella in continuous solid bowl helical conveyor centrifuges. Many other leaching devices have been developed for special purposes, such as the solvent extraction of various oil seeds with a specific design details governed by the properties of the solvent and of the solid to be leached. The dissolved material or solute is recovered by the crystallization or evaporation. So after complete extraction, the dissolved material, because a very fine material will be present, those dissolved material or solute material is recovered by the crystallization operation or evaporation operation. Now coming to the applications of this leaching, it is used in the biological and food processing industry. Like example, the separation of sugar from the sugar beets with the hot water, and the extraction of oils from the peanuts, soya beans, sunflower seeds, cotton seeds. And in pharmaceutical industry, many products are obtained by leaching plant roots, leaves, and also stems. In the metal processing industry, the leaching is used to remove the metals from their ores, which contains many undesirable constituents as solute salts. Example, gold leaching. In gold leaching, the gold is leached from its ore using an aqueous sodium cyanide solution. And then another example is fish oil from fish waste fish using organic solvent. These are the various applications of the leaching process. Next, coming to the liquid extraction. So in previous thing, we have discussed about the leaching process. Leaching is nothing but solid liquid extraction. Now we are going to discuss about liquid extraction. In liquid extraction, which are also known as solvent extraction, it involves the separation of the constituents of liquid solution by contact with another insoluble liquid. Solutes are separated based on their different solubilities. So here the solubility plays an important role. Solutes are separated based on their different solubilities in different. Separation is achieved when the substances constituting the original solution is transferred from the original solution to the other liquid solution. So this is the liquid extraction. The solvent phase will be acting light phase, and the dispersed here, this is the dispersed phase, and the phase separation is taking place. The phase which is separated, top phase is called as extract, and the bottom phase is called as raffinate. The solvent rich product of the operation, where the solvent is highly present, it is called extract, and the residual liquid from the liquid which solute has been removed is called raffinate phase. So there are two phases, extract phase and raffinate phase. In extract phase, the solvent will be more. In raffinate phase, the residual compound will be present. In some operations, the solutes are the desired product, hence the extract stream is the desirable stream. In some other application, the solutes may be contaminants that need to be removed, and in this instance, the raffinate is the desirable product stream. So sometimes the raffinate may be, the desired product will be present in the raffinate stream, or in some cases, while extraction of oil, essential oils and other things, the extract will be considered as the desirable product stream. And here the choice of solvent is very much important, because the solvent only you extracting the more amount of solute from the solution. So while choosing the solvent, we have to consider some factors. One is selectivity, distribution coefficient, insolubility of the solvent, recoverability of solute from solvent, density difference between liquid phases, interfacial tension, chemical reactivity. So the solvent should not be chemically reactive, because if it reacts with the liquid mixture, then we cannot separate the liquid mixture. And the cost of the solvent is also very much important. Then viscosity. Viscosity we have already discussed. If the viscosity is very high, then the diffusivity will become low, and the extraction will also become low. And the vapor pressure, flammability, and toxicity. These are the various factors which has to be considered while selecting the solvent. Advantages of solvent extraction. So what are the advantages of this extraction process? First is selectivity of extraction directly from fermentation broths or from reaction medium in the case of biotransformations, wherein whole cells or enzymes are used for conversion of a substrate into the desired product. Second is reduction in product loss due to hydrolytic or metabolic degradation, as the product is transferred to a second phase with a different physical and chemical properties. Third is suitability over a wide range of scales operation. These are the different advantages of this extraction operation. The equipments which are used for extraction operations are mixer settler, packed extraction towers, perforated plate towers, agitated extractors, pulse column, centrifugal extractor. So these are the various equipments which are used for this extraction process. The purpose of extraction. So what are the purpose? There are various purpose of extraction. To remove products and pollutants from the dilute streams, wash polar compounds or acid base from the organic streams, separate heat sensitive product, and because we can go for distillation process for separating the liquid mixture, but so if the liquids are highly heat sensitive, then we cannot go for distillation process. So this process is advantage, because we can separate the heat sensitive product, because we are not heating it, just we are adding the third compound, which is solvent. And purify non-volatile materials process azeotropic and close boiling mixture, and it can be avoid a high cost distillation solution. So distillation process can be replaced by means of this extraction process. Then coming to the equipment mixer settler, these units consist of number of mixing and settling units. So mixing unit will be there and settling unit will be there, which are connected alternatively in series. And they are normally used when only small number of stages are used. When small number of stages are required, in that case only we can go for this mixer settler. And mechanical agitation is required in the mixing zone. Flow of fluid from one zone to the another may either be affected by gravity or by use of pumps. Traditionally, this mixing chamber will have been a container with an agitator, followed by the settling chamber, also all known as box mixer settler. The mixing function may be performed by pumping the fluids through the static mixer or by mixing the fluids in an appropriate pump followed by the settling device. So here we can scale up the units. We can, if you want more and more, we can go for this mixer settler for scaling up. Scaling up will be very easy in this mixer settler. So here this is mixer settler. Here the mixing unit and the settling unit will be there. So the mixer and settler can be the integral part or it can be separate. So either we can keep the mixing part inside this mixer as well as the settler part inside this. Or else we can separately, we can keep mixing part and settler part. So this operation may be continuous or it can be done batch-wise. So both is possible in case of this mixer settler. So this is the mixer settler. The feed is fed into the first one in which the mixing process will be taking place. And here the settler unit is different. So in the previous case, the mixer and the settler unit are integral part. But in this case, the mixer unit is separate part and the settler unit is separate part. So the raffinate from this first mixer number 1 is taken to the settler where the raffinate is settled here. And the extract will be taken to the next mixer. So here mixer and settler are acting separately. What are the advantages of this mixer settler? So these mixer settlers are still widely used because their reliability very reliable and they're very flexible to operate, and it can be used for high capacity. And these can handle difficult to disperse systems such as those having high interfacial tension and large phase density difference. They can also cope up with highly viscous liquids and solid liquid slurries because we are using the mixing. So while we are mixing it, agitator will be provided for mixing. So even the high viscous liquid can be carried out in this mixer settler. The mixer and settler can be integral or separate. So that is the main advantage of this mixer settler. And this operation may be continuous. Continuously we can do, or else we can do it in a batch-wise operation. What are the disadvantages of this mixer settler? So the size is very much important. Their size and the inventory of material held up in the equipment. Sometimes the material will be held up in the equipment. And for multiple unit operations, considerable capital cost may be needed for pumps and pipings. Because if you want to increase the scale up, we have to go for pumps and piping connections for this. So little bit cost will be higher. That is the main disadvantage of this mixer settler. Coming to the spray extraction tower. In spray extraction tower, the lighter liquid is introduced at the bottom and distributed as small drops by the nozzle. Then these drops of light liquid rise through the mass of heavier liquids which flows downwards. The drops are collected at the top and form the stream of the light liquid leaving the top of the tower. The heavy liquid leaves from the bottom of the tower and light phase will be present at the top of the tower. So the light phase is dispersed and heavy phase is continuous phase. This may be reversed and the heavy stream sprayed into the light phase at the top of the column to fall as dispersed phase through the continuous stream of the light liquid. The choice of dispersed phase depends on the flow rates. viscosities and wetting characteristics of both phases. The contact between the drops and continuous phase often appears to be most effective in the region where the drops are formed. This could be due to higher rate of mass transfer in the newly formed drops or to back mixing of the continuous phase. Adding more heights does not give proportional increase in the number of stages. It is much more effective to redispose the drops at frequent intervals through the outer lower, out the lower. So this is the spray and packed extraction tower. So here the light phase is passed from the bottom to the top, and the heavy phase is dispersed from the top to the bottom. Next is packed tower. This can be done by filling the tower with the packings. Here the packings are used in the packed tower, like the packing materials are rings or saddles. The packing cause the drops to coalesce the reform and may increase the number of stages. The disadvantage of this packed tower is that solids tend to collect in the packing and cause channeling. The solids may be blocked in the packing material. So if it is blocking, block the tower, then there will be the chances of channeling. And if it is channeling occurs, then the whole solvent will not be getting, or the whole solid material in which from which we have to extract our solute cannot be done because of this channeling. So channeling is the disadvantage. Then next is flooding. If the flow rate of either the dispersed phase or the continuous phase is held constant, and that of the phase gradually increased at a point where the dispersed phase coalesces, the hold up of that phase increases, finally both phases leave together the continuous phase outlet. This is called flooding. So both phases will be leaving together through the continuous phase outlet. So the flooding may occur. So this is the packed tower, perforated plate tower. Here the packing material will be present. So here the chances of channeling. So the channeling has to be avoided in this packed tower. This is cascade wear tray with the mixing and settling zone. Next is agitated extraction tower. Mixer settlers supply mechanical energy for mixing two liquids. They depend on gravity flow, both for mixing and for separation. In some tower, extractor mechanical energy is provided by internal turbines or other mounted on a central rotating shaft. So in the mixer settler, mainly the gravity as well as the mixing, both are taking place in this mixer settler, mixer extraction, agitated extraction towers. Here the agitation is carried out as well as the mixing. Agitation is mainly used for mixing, as well as the settling is also carried out in this mixer settler. So this is the instrument or equipment which is used for settling operation as well as the mixing operation.